Welcome to Nanny Knowledge with Miss Jen. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome mommies and daddies, nannies and grannies, and anyone who's just looking for a little extra advice or information about all things baby. Infants, newborns, toddlers, all the way up to preschool age. We will be covering all of that here on my channel. So make sure you subscribe so you can get notifications and updates every time I post new fresh videos for you. Today here on Nanny Knowledge with Miss Jen, we're going to be discussing 10 tips on traveling with kids. In some of my other videos, I've talked about traveling with children on an airplane. This one is about road trips in the car. Doesn't that sound fun? Loading the kids up in the car in the back seat with all your backpacks and luggages and snack packs and fruit cups and toys and puzzles and seat belts and car seats. It's a lot, but it can be done and it can be fun. With a little bit of patience, some compassion, and a lot of love, you're going to get through this road trip, mommies. Travel tip number 6. Another fun way to serve snacks and treats is to have a little tray with compartments. They have those little baskets with handles and they have little squares or compartmentalized sections that you can put their sandwich in one and some little chips or snacks or pretzels in one, and then their drink can go in one little cubby and then a dessert or a cookie in another. They're really handy. They're totally cheap. You know you can get them at the dollar store, and they're also a fun way to serve up a lunch. It's almost fancy or special, and it makes lunchtime fun, and it'll also maybe hopefully stretch out that snack time or that meal time just to buy you some more time for this trip to make it go by faster, or at least seem like it is. You can also use that cute little carrying cart compartmentalized tray after they're done with their lunch. Wipe it out with a wipe, and that's where you start your arts and crafts tray. Maybe you can do it up in the front seat or wherever you're sitting. Put one little compartment with crayons and one little compartment with colored pencils and one little compartment with some little notepads, sticky paper or whatever, and then some construction paper cutouts so they can just color on or draw, or some scissors or whatever. Again, kid-friendly scissors with no sharp pointy tips. Those cute little carrying trays with handles are really fun for a lot of different things that you can use on road trips. Snacks, arts and crafts, gathering and collecting things on your journey, for instance, little rocks and sticks and pine needles or flowers or whatever they've picked along the way. Just make sure you kind of check those first before they come into the car. Make sure there's no live critters coming into the car with you. Oh, look, Mommy, look what I found. This thing that has a tail. It's going to come in my little box with the cubby. Caterpillars, worms, frogs, who knows what else, lizards. Yeah, you don't want that running around loose in your car. So make sure before kiddo climbs into the car with their little bucket full of treasures that they found out in the woods or on your walk, on the sidewalk or in the park, just make sure there's nothing live in there. Spiders, crickets, a snake, a grizzly bear? Maybe not. Travel tip number 7, arts and crafts. No, I'm not kidding. I'm serious. Arts and crafts on a road trip. Okay, so we're not talking about glue guns and hot glue and glitter and things that are going to make a mess, but bring things like, of course, we said crayons and colored pencils, construction paper, maybe some child-safe scissors. They can cut some shapes. Maybe they can pick out some favorite parts of their road trip that they can cut out into shapes, like maybe they saw a really cool cow or a really big tree or the Eiffel Tower. Depends on where you are, right? Maybe they can just cut out some shapes, and that can be part of that scrapbook that we talked about earlier in the video. Maybe even bringing some little clay, moldy shapy clay or Play-Doh. Play-Doh can get a little messy, but if they have a little work desk, like those little laptop cushion pad workstation, it's like a little desk for kids. And if they have something like that they can have on their lap while they're on their road trip, maybe they can play neatly and clean with some Play-Doh or some clay. If they're old enough, of course, you don't want to give something like this to a toddler on a road trip that you can't reach, and make sure that they're not putting it in their mouth and chewing on it and eating it. Same goes for crayons. Babies always eat crayons. Like, I've never seen a toddler ever color with sidewalk chalk or crayons without at least giving it a little taste test first. There's also this really cool thing called Magnadoodle. It's like an etch and sketch. It's magnetic, and they can do art and then erase it, and then do some more art and then erase it. Practice their ABCs or writing their name and then erase it. swipe it clean and start fresh. They're getting a new fresh palette every time they erase it and start fresh. So try one of those Etch-a-Sketch or Magnet Doodles with the magnet art pen and see what kind of creative things they can come up with and draw for you on this road trip. Travel tip number 8. Play DJ. Pump out the tunes. Pump up the volume. Put on some fun songs, whether it be a playlist that you've created before you left on your trip, some family-friendly options, something that the kids like as well as mommy and daddy, or maybe you guys take turns. Maybe the kids will get to pick their fun little kid songs and nursery rhymes and ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. Let them have their turn with the music for a little while and choose their favorite songs. And then switch it up and have a mommy and daddy time where you start playing your Mozart or your, Run DMC. Whatever you guys listen to. What do you listen to on road trips? Do you have a favorite playlist or CD that you bring on road trips? Mention it in the comments below. I'd love to hear what your favorite travel tunes are. I'm always open to suggestions. Maybe even take this opportunity to put in some educational CDs for your kids so that they can maybe work on a little bit of summer homework or keep up on their math skills or whatever. There are certain CDs and educational discs out there that you can pop in. It might be in the form of an MP3 that you can put on your phone or your MP3 player. But, use this time for some homework, maybe some tutoring or some language. Learn a new language. Pop in a French CD or a Spanish CD and have those kiddos practice their Espanol. Travel tip number 9. Potty breaks. Okay, are we there yet? Mommy, I need to go potty. Mommy, I need to go tinkle. You're going to hear that 1,000 times on this road trip. It might truly be that they need to go potty, or it might just be that they're bored. They need to get out and stretch their legs. Depending on how much time you've budgeted on this road trip, you might just want to do that, honor that, get out of the car, let them stretch their legs, find a really nice rest stop and have a picnic lunch. Or, if you're going to have some lunch somewhere at a diner or a drive-through restaurant, make sure those kiddos are going potty and make sure that you're watching so that you can make sure that they are indeed emptying their bladder. Because what inevitably happens is a kiddo says, I already went, I want my Big Mac, I want my chicken nuggets, I want my Happy Meal. And they didn't really go. Not that they're being dishonest. They're just in a hurry. They're excited. They're happy to be out of the car. Stand near them in that stall and make sure that they are going potty so you know for sure they've emptied their bladder before you get back in the car. Just maybe stand nearby in the restroom by their stall or at the sink and just take a little listen. Make sure that you are for sure aware that they did indeed empty their bladder, because if not, you're going to be stopping in another 20 minutes and you might be in a part of the country that there's not a lot of rest stops and restaurants along the way, and then they're going to be peeing on the side of the road. On the highway. Then they're done that. If you're traveling with a toddler who's in the middle of potty training, this might be a bit of a challenge. Yes, you can still use public restrooms. Yes, you can cover those seats and wipe everything off or sterilize and sanitize before you put their little heinies on there, or travel with your own little potty insert seat that goes into the restroom toilets. Make sure you bring something to clean that and wash that when you're done. But sometimes, honestly, it might be easier just to let that poor little toddler have his or her pull-ups on and maybe just explain to them, guess what? We're taking a day off from potty training today. You don't have to use the potty in the restroom. Most public restrooms are filthy on the road. And also most public toilets, for some reason, just flush really, really loud. It will inevitably scare your child. And sometimes scary loud toilet flushes will cause potty training regression. So you don't want that to happen. So if it were me, just my vote here, I would probably just skip the potty training on the road. Once you get to that hotel, once you get to grandma's house, once you get to your destination, yes, get back on track with your potty training. Maybe even bring your own little potty insert or your own little small potty for their use at the hotel or at the house where you're staying. But avoid those dirty restrooms. There's just really no way to get a child to sit on a toilet and not touch everything on their back of their legs and their hiney and their cheeks. And there are little diseases and rashes that can show up when you use dirty restroom toilets, impetigo for one thing. So again, choose your battles, mommies. If you're on a road trip, it's so much easier to change a pull-up than it is to try to get a kid to sit on a public toilet and try to be clean about it. Just saying. With a little bit of patience, some compassion, and a lot of love, you're going to get through this road trip, mommies. I'm here to help. We're going to do this together. Thanks again for watching. Please leave some comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe. Some thumbs up are always nice, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Of course, I Spy or, light. Nope. Ow, I bumped myself. You don't want a bunch of junk and crud laying around in the car seats and old run. Leave it in the suggestion. Okay, that was good, right? Thanks for watching, everyone. This is the end of part 2. The link to part 3 and all the other episodes are down below in the description. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. Thanks again.